Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Please look at that description down below and click that Amazon affiliate link. That really helps the channel out. I reinvest everything I get back into the channel, mostly in some form, whether it's buying equipment, buying action cameras, buying equipment to render, edit, or bikes, or go on trips. So thank you very much for doing that in advance. What we're going to talk about today is really bothering me. You know, people are throwing out all kinds of crazy conspiracy on how an area could get closed down. I'm going to talk in generalities because I'm not going to name the place. Like, I don't put the tags and videos and I don't tell you where it's at and this and that. There's a reason for that sometimes, and it's a very good reason. I know some people are like, well, why do you even film if you don't like mention where it's at? Well, you know, to kind of control the population from outright learning where it's at, legalities possibly. It could be private land and the landowners don't want you on their land. You know, might have got permission, but you don't have permission, so why would I show you? It's kind of like when I'm in Tennessee at my parents'. Like, I'm riding their land, but I'm not telling you exactly where it's at. You know I'm in Tennessee, but I'm not telling you where it's at because you don't have the right to ride there. And it would be kind of foolish because in that instance, you know, they have a house, they have animals, they got a right to defend that property, and it is well fenced and what have you. They do take care of their property really, really well, above and beyond what any landowner I know outside of them does. I mean, my father's out there weed whacking freaking fence line that's in the middle of nowhere, and you're like, what the heck are you doing? But he'll spend hours doing that to keep the property up in a state that is way above most people's comprehension of why you're doing that. The locals aren't doing that. But anyways, to each their own. God bless my father for wanting to, I guess, leave me a pristine piece of property. I won't be weed whacking like he does. But like I said, to each their own there as far as maintaining their property. But that's why we don't talk about certain areas, because there could be a whole host of reasons. There's plenty of legal areas where I'll mention, like I rode Independence Trail or Patriot Trail or Horseshoe or Grizzly Helena. Now, some people will get really upset with even mentioning that stuff, but you open up Cotrex, which is a free app here in Colorado. I highly recommend you download that because that will show all the legal trails, and you will download that and you'll have access to all the single track, all the ATV trails, all the horseback riding, all the hiking, mountain biking. You can do searches for the activity you love to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of riders that also mountain bike, hike, you know, equestrian, this and that. They like doing other things. Nothing wrong with that. And we get a lot of people coming into the dirt bike world who might have come from like adventure bikes, dual sport bikes, but even mountain bikes and hiking, and they've seen these out there and they want to give it a try, and they can't believe how technical it can be and how much of a workout you can get, and you can get just as much of a workout riding the right type of trail on a motorcycle as you will hiking or pedaling that mountain bike up a hill, because you can constantly work yourself nonstop when you're tossing around a 280 pound motorcycle on some rocky, gnarly trail. You know, we are all guilty in this day and age of word of mouth. I think that's always been the most common way that people have heard about trails is, hey Tom, you know, there's this trail over here. You want to go ride with me? Hey, okay. And you show it to him, oh, I didn't know this was here. This is great. This is the best trail ever. Next thing you know, Tom is telling Bob. Bob's telling, you know, John. John's telling Mark. Mark's telling, you know, this guy over here or this gal. And soon enough, everyone kind of word of mouth. It takes a while with word of mouth. It takes years and years, but that does filter through the riding community. As you might know, or maybe you don't because you're new to motorcycle riding in general, whether it's dirt bikes, adventure bikes, street bikes, Harleys, you know, there's a tight-knit community, much more so than I would even say side-by-sides and ATVers and this and that. I really don't know the reason why we're so tight-knit, but we are. So I guess being the smaller community, we tend to talk and meet each other, even if it's just once or twice, especially the dirt bike community, because it's a small niche of the other groups, of riders. And so I'll tell somebody, hey, this trail's right here, you want to go ride with me? And they say okay, and then it kind of gets passed down, like I was saying, word of mouth. And then, you might say, hey, let's get a group together and we'll go ride at this area. And so then you have group rides and people come out, and it might be their first time, or maybe you didn't know it, but they invite somebody and they tag along, and that person's telling, that whole word of mouth is just spreading around. In fact, it spreads so well, you even get businesses like dealers that will say, and I'll leave it nameless, I've mentioned it on various Facebook pages, but a certain dealer in town at least told me where some trails were that were illegal. But they told me. How many people did they tell besides me? I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm not that special. Just because I have a YouTube channel and stuff, I doubt I'm that special that they just told me. So they told other people. And at that same time, I had kind of found a few of the trails, and it doesn't take rocket science. You would motor around slowly and you see tracks there. Okay, hey, there's a trail there. And then that just kind of spreads, because I learned about these new trails are here. Next time my friend that was with me last time on this trail over here, well, hey, let's go I'll show you that new trail that I came across. And then you show them that trail. Well, now they know, and now they can tell people, and you might tell people too, because I think it's human nature to want to share about trails and where we're riding, because we have such few areas to ride, right? It's just human nature to do that. Now, I know there's old timers that will not like mentioning it all. They'll be like, no social media, no photos, no video, nothing. Like, they're so ingrained, like, these are my trails, I'm going to keep them for myself. I guess that does work to a degree, but as the population grows in these areas, come on. I mean, you got to factor that in. Where do you ride in the winter in Colorado? Well, it's not the high mountains, that's for sure. There's not many places to ride, so we're left to one choice. When you only have one choice, what do you think people are going to do? People are going to go there, even if they don't know about single track, they're going to go there and they're going to look around. And like I said, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. They have eyes. These aren't blind people riding motorcycles. They're going to see that, hey, there's this well-defined trail going off through these bushes. Well, what's that about? I mean, as long as they have a little skill and curiosity, they're going to be like, hey, what's that? And the funny part is, in this particular area, I've come across with people that said the trails are legal. I've come across people that said, no, there's only one legal single track. And I was like, well, what? I just laugh when I hear these things, because everyone and their brother knows that the trails are not technically legal. We all know that. I'll admit, I've been on those trails. I know those trails pretty well, and it's been kind of accepted. I even had a ranger that said, hey, we don't care, just, whatever, be cautious of stuff, don't tear up the land. Yeah, we know you're out there, not a big deal. Now it's a big deal. Now they're cracking down, $155 a ticket. So if you have like a group of 5, wow, they just made some big bucks. Now, I don't know how that works when it comes to the government agency I'm talking about, because I don't know if that goes back to DC, if they get to keep any of that. I don't know how that is structured with fines, if they get to keep a piece of it, or that all 100% goes back. I've heard mixed things on that over the years, so I really don't know where fines necessarily go. I was once told by a different agency, but that also does public lands, said that the money goes back to DC, so they didn't really have much of an incentive to actually issue tickets, although they would issue tickets when they saw fit, because that's how they try to teach you a lesson, right? Don't do that again. That's going to cost you some money, sonny. And it's just kind of funny that, I don't know. Obviously, fines haven't kept up with the time. $155 is nothing to sneeze about, but then again, you go out and ride and you break your shifter or something, well, you know what, you're going to be out probably $155 anyways, or your brake lever. I guess brake lever more than shifter, but even the shifter, an IMS shifter, is quite expensive. So yeah, you'll be out some money, you know. So I don't know, for $155 for most riders, that's not a big deal. If you got into the side-by-sides and ATVers and stuff, especially the side-by-sides, the bigger ones, what's $155 when they're in a $37,000 rig? Peanuts. Realistically, that's peanuts. It's not going to do anything. But, you know, when they're putting up signs, when they're telling you not to go there, so maybe I should get into that a little bit, but let's do that in a second. I'm going to talk about the population. So I went through, just did a quick Google search for, so some of these are kind of like estimations because 2023, but 2023, Denver, 2,931,000 people. In 2007, when I moved here, and now we can argue if I'm part of the problem, which I probably am because I moved here in 2007. A certain group of people will say, hey, you're not native, you need to move out of here because you're why houses cost so much and this and that and why there's so many people. Well, you know, within the nation, people are continually moving because that's what's nice about America. We get to move around. We're not restricted on our movements. And you tell me, go back to where I came from. Where did I come from? I was born in Michigan, but I lived around the world due to my father's government job. So I don't really have roots like a lot of people. So that always bugs me when somebody says, well, these people need to go back to where they came from. Where did I come? I moved from Michigan, but was Michigan my home? Not really, because I only lived there once I was out of high school and went to community college into university. Later on, you know, that's why we moved here. I had no problem moving. I could move again. I don't set down roots. I have a daughter now. That's why I won't be moving out of Colorado. In fact, because she was born here, she's a Colorado native. So for those that say you should move, well, she's a native of Colorado. This is all she knows. This is what she loves. And she'll probably go to university here, although we hope she goes elsewhere because Colorado's overpriced on their schooling. But that's a whole nother discussion. But the difference between 2023 of Denver to 2007 is 671,000 people in metro. This is the metro population. So that's the surrounding area of the metro area, right? So that's a huge jump in population just since I've moved here. In Colorado Springs here, the metro population is right now roughly 693,000. In 2007, it was 532,000. That's a difference of 161,000. So 161,000 more people moved here during the time since I got here until now. Wow, you know, that's a lot of people. And so then you got Pueblo. Pueblo obviously being a lot smaller area and not a high desirable area. No offense to those that live in Pueblo, Pueblo West, etc. But the best I could do, and plus it's harder to find figures for cities like that that are that small, that are reliable. But this is what I found. So it could be, it's probably off because, you know, these are guesstimations like for the 2023 and what have you. But for 2023, Pueblo has 170,724 people. In 2007, 155,121, which they only added 15,603 people to the Pueblo metro area, which isn't much. But when you add up those three figures, which encompasses the front range basically of people that ride this particular area, that's a hell of a lot of people. That's that, you know, was that 800,000 plus people that are looking for new areas to ride, that want to go out there and ride, and they're looking around. They're going out to these areas that people didn't go to. Not that long ago, I would say 5 years ago, I would go out to this particular area, and literally during the week, I was the only person there. Maybe a rock crawler would come in, or a side-by-side, an older guy, you know, they're retired. But now, you go out there on a Wednesday, a Friday, I don't care what day of the week, there's people out there. There's people camping out there. There's people bringing their side-by-sides out there. There's rock crawlers coming out. There's motorcycles coming out. There's a bunch of people coming to use that area. I saw, like last time, a couple people running. Like, what are you doing? Running? I mean, why would I even go there to run? It's not a running area. You can run anywhere. Makes no sense to me. But, you're probably getting mountain bikers. You're probably getting equestrian, although I haven't seen horses, but I wouldn't doubt that soon they will be out there. And, it's just that the population growing, obviously people are going to find these trails, and with word of mouth, group rides, social media. Social media does play a role. I'm not going to deny that. It does play a role. It's why you have to do social media in a way that is kind of smart. You can't, like in the title, put where you're at. You can't, in the video tags, put where you're at. I'm in Kansas. I'm in Florida. I'm in Oregon. I'm anywhere but where I'm at. And I do that for a lot of my videos, even some of the legal stuff, where I kind of want to keep the population down, I don't put the tags. If the tags aren't there, when somebody's like searching up a riding area, let's say Rainbow Falls, that's a riding area north of Woodland Park. If I put in Woodland Park, so trail area is called Rainbow Falls. If I put in Rainbow Falls into my title and into my video tag keywords, people are going to see that video. People are going to be like, oh, there's this trail there. Well, you just don't do that, and your normal audience that likes riding doesn't really care necessarily where you're at anyways, because if they're not in Colorado, why would they care? Because whether I tell them it's over here or over there, or up here or down there, well, what's the matter with them? They like watching the riding videos. They like hearing me speak. If it's a vlog, or if it's this type of voiceover type video I've been doing, just to be able to talk with you. So you can watch something, you can listen to me, and it wouldn't be as boring as like a podcast, for example. And yes, I know this video is getting pretty long. I'm watching the little thing go across, and I'm like, wow, this is a long video. But it needs to be long because this is an important topic. So then it comes down, like I mentioned, that when you only have one place to ride in the winter, well, where do you think people are going to go? So the government agencies, where do you think people are going to go? And that leads me to, well, hey, government agency, you're an OHV area. That's in your name, but yet you're not going to have trails for a large segment of the population. You're not going to allow trails for 40 people that show up on a Saturday. We outnumber the rock crawlers. We outnumber the ATV users. On typical day there's more of us nowadays than there was in the past because of these trails. And these trails are on public lands. That's the key word. Public. They are public lands. They are not lands to be dictated by an agency of, well, hey, you're a big part of the public, but we're not going to give you any activities that you like to do. Oh, you like to ride dirt bikes? No. You got to buy a side-by-side. You got to get an ATV. You got to buy a rock crawler. Yeah. We're not going to cater to your needs, even though these are public lands with public land managers. These are stewards of our lands. We pay taxes for these lands. These lands are paid for us. And when it's a area that is designated as an OHV area, then why shouldn't we be able to have trails? Well, you don't understand, Mark. That's not the process. The process is, you're going to have to put in a proposal for the trails and tell us where you would like these trails. Well, how am I going to tell you where I would like the trails if I can't see the terrain? So what? I just draw on the map and say, hey, let's do a trail here. Let's do one over here. Let's do. But then once we have the proposal, we're going to have to do an environmental impact study for each trail. We got to make sure there's no weird creatures that are going to die. There's not a Sasquatch that's living in that canyon that you might interfere with the mating of. or that this is an animal highway right here through the canyon, so you can't be down there because you're interrupting how the animals move throughout the canyons and around the lands. You know, they want you to do all these things. And then the next thing they'll tell you, because it was told to me directly to my face over 10 years ago in this particular area, that, well, you know what? After you do that, then, you know, then we would look into a trail dozer. And then you get a trail dozer, you know, and this guy over here, Bob, I forget his name, there was a guy at the meeting. This guy over here, he operates the trail dozer. And, you know, a trail dozer is going to cost like $50,000, $60,000. I'm thinking, well, but that's not single track. What are you talking about? These are boulder fields. Why on earth would you be hiring a trail dozer that's 50 inches, so you're going to destroy 50 inches of land all throughout, however much that would equal to, depending on the length of the trail, versus a tire width? Huh. Wow. You want to destroy more land so it's legal. Well, how about we do a true single track? Try to not be in the fields and this and that as much as we can. Entrances, exits, you're going to have some, but you're mainly staying in the canyons that are boulder fields. People ride boulder. I think that's the problem. People don't understand that we like to ride boulder fields. We like the gnarly stuff. This certain area is not for new riders. There's a few trails I would say you could kind of get their legs wet on, but for the most part, most of those trails are not for new riders. So it comes down to, oh, well, we got to do this environmental impact study and this and that. In other words, and then they have to have public hearings, right? They have to put it out there for the public, which they kind of did for this area. They said, they did the old bait and switch. Hey, give us all your GPS files. Let us know where these trails are. What would you like to see included into maybe legalizing, opening up some possibilities to you? Well, they already paid somebody to go out there, ride a dirt bike around and snitch. They paid somebody. And there's probably other people that feel like, well, I'm part of this committee over here and we had to work really hard, so I don't like what's going on down there. That's all illegal. You know, why can't just people be happy for people getting stuff and being able to use their public lands because it's public lands? What I don't understand, what people don't understand, that it's public lands. It has the word OHV in it. Hey, wow, it's an OHV riding area. You don't go there to hike. You don't go there mountain bike. It's really a shitty camping area. But, you know, hey, we can't do that, you know? We just cannot have an OHV area that the largest user group can't have their own trails. And so we want it to be unsafe, so you go head on into that crazy guy and that $30,000 side-by-side that is drifting around a corner because they think it's a racetrack, and it's not a racetrack. It's an area that could have somebody hiking on it because this is Colorado. And for those that don't know, in Colorado, it's multi-use trails. So you can have somebody out there. That's why they can't just say mountain bikers, hikers, and equestrian, you can't be there. No, they can't do that because it's multi-use. They can be on any of the trails, which is stupid. And they'll complain about something. But when they open it up, when the government agencies open it up to public commenting period, that's always a sign that it's not going to go how you like. When they start requesting trails from you, from the people riding that area, which they know are riding it illegally, then you know it's going to be shut down. And it's going to be shut down pretty dang quickly. When these people hear the word motorcycle, that's always been the trigger word to have them be, oh my God, what is going on? You can't go there. You're on a motorcycle. Oh, you're hiking? Okay. You're on a mountain bike? That's cool. E-bike even? You know, that's not bad. It's just pedal assist, right? Because, you know, don't want any of those thumb throttles or actual throttles because, you know, heaven forbid, they might tear up the trail. You know, it's a joke. It's a joke. They do not like motorcycles specifically. It's okay if you bring 100 Jeeps to Silverton, Colorado and put on a Jeep event. That's okay. But you say, hey, we're going to have 100 adventure bikes in Silverton, Colorado. You have the Forest Service calling you. How do I know this? Because I was part of Rocky Mountain Adventure Riders. I was on the board of directors. We raised shitload of money. We raised like $50,000, something like that, having 250 people, riders, mostly riders, in Silverton, Colorado. Well, who had an issue? The Forest Service. Forest Service saying, oh my God, you're going to have this made. Oh, wait. We're holding this on in the city. On public. What people do outside, we're not promoting riding. We're not leading rides. It's just a group of individuals like-minded that are camping and spending time together around the campfire. What they do on their own is on their own. And man, that still makes them pissed off. They get so pissed off about that. And then you say, well, what's the difference between us and 100 Jeeps leaving out of, Denver and coming down here out of a whim and driving around and clogging up the trails? Because they'll say you'll have to limit the number of people, this and that. I mean, I should talk about the whole experience with being with a nonprofit and the government agencies you have to deal with. But this is how I know this shit, because I've lived this shit. I know none of these government agencies has your best interest for you. And it's why my view of trails has changed over the years, to where I used to be pro stay the trail, pro this, pro that. But then you get screwed. Everywhere you look, you're just getting screwed. So I've stopped. I go enjoy my ride. I don't give second thoughts about it. And I know that's going to come down back to the whole, well, social media. Mark, you do YouTube. You might be showing some stuff. Yep, I might be. But I'm very damn careful of what I put out there, how I put it out there, and not putting tags and not really bringing attention to a specific area. Now, maybe somebody put kind of two together and thinks they know where I'm riding. That might not be actually where I'm riding in the videos. You got to think about that, people. There's people like this Charles guy who spoke up about, you show stuff. Well, you know what? I do kind of show stuff, but it's not where you always think it is either. Just because you think it's in this particular area doesn't mean it's so. Doesn't make it so. And as the population grows, these areas are naturally going to get just more crowded. More people are going to go out there and trail build. I personally, I can vouch for it, I'm a lazy bastard. I don't trail build. I'm just too lazy for that crap. I've only ever kind of maintained a branch here or there, but I don't go out and trail build. Actually, I'll take that back. I have one trail that's not even what we're talking about, that I've kind of built, and it was more of a dead end than anything. It was just to get up one little obstacle. But, that's an extent of my trail building. I'm actually a pretty damn lazy person when it comes to that sort of thing. I do carry a saw. That's mainly if a tree goes down, which I've had happen as I go in and I come out. I can cut that tree, or I come up upon a tree across the trail. I can cut it out and continue on, or whatever I need to do. Usually I'm just like face slappers. I trim the trail that's already there, and I just take care of what's already there. So, it's going to be this thing where as we get bigger population, the word of mouth, people are going to find all this stuff that's along the Front Range. I mean, it's not just this one area. We got the whole Front Range that has stuff. If you just slow down, look around, you'll see shit. Am I going to tell you where that is? No, I'm not. Is my videos going to lead you to where that is? No, good luck trying that. This is a big state. I do a lot of riding. So good luck in that, and I do a lot of riding in other states too, as the weather picks up. So it's going to be really hard for you to pinpoint exactly where I'm at unless I specifically tell you, and I don't typically tell you unless maybe it's a legal trail. And I'm thinking about bringing back kind of the service I had when I had the startup company called Trail Taker, where we mapped and videoed trail systems. I'm going to start going to like a trail system like Rainbow Falls or wherever, and I'm just going to map the legal trail. I'm going to go out there, not really map the trails because they're already mapped with Cotrex and what have you, which is a free app again. It's videoing. That way you'll be like, that trail, oh, I can do that trail. And it really helps people out. Now, some will disagree that you shouldn't even do that because that's bringing attention to an area. Well, they have Cotrex. Anyone with half a brain will learn about Cotrex pretty damn fast. And being a free app provided by Colorado, well, you got all the trails at your fingertips. You can just scroll around. You can scroll around on your desktop, so you don't even need the app on your phone. So those that are watching this that aren't even in Colorado, just go online, type in Colorado Cotrex, and that'll probably bring it up. And you can make an account, you can explore around, and I don't even think you need an account for just like moving the map around and looking for trails. So, you know, they don't even make you sign up for that. And it, like I said, it's free, it's wonderful. More states should have apps like that, especially in the West here, where like Utah would be nice if they had one. And all these natural inventions and technology are going to bring more users. All this, word of mouth, to social media, to technology, having Cotrex, to other forums and websites and what have you, is going to bring these trails to light. That's how it is. That's technology. Whether it's good or bad, that's how it goes. And as we move out from the era of the only way you could get a location would be go to see a ranger and go to the ranger station and say, hey, do you have a map, and this is what I'm doing, and they'll pull out a map, give you a map, and they'll point to like, these are the trails. That's how land stewardship should work, only that they should tell you where the stuff is. They should be helpful and what have you. And if there's a need for your particular activity, as times change, you know, this ain't 1920s, this is 2023. If there's people riding dirt bikes, there should be more dirt bike trails. Hey, I think there should be more side-by-side trails. I think there should be more Jeep trails too that are like rock crawling trails. Because why not? If there's an interest by that group, why shouldn't we? But you know, you have to go through the whole hoops and this and that, and so it takes like 5-10 years to get anything built, anything approved, because mainly those environmental impact studies, because heaven forbid if, you know, there's some rare frog or a mouse or something that is in a canyon that lives in the grass or what have you, you know, good luck then, you know. And then when they open these comment periods up to everyone, it leads to the Sierra Club and all these other organizations that have multi-millions of dollars to come in and spend money lobbying and suing the government agency that is proposing to open something, even if it's called an OHV area. So I kind of wonder if that's what occurred in this area. If because they opened it, they put a map of where these trails possibly go, which leads to people that didn't know about riders that saw the, hey, make a comment. You know, it was all over the various riding Facebook groups. Like, hey, make a comment. They may make the trails legal. Here's a map. Well, oh, hey, there's trails down there. I didn't know there was trails down there. Let's go down there next week, Bob. Oh, okay, hey. And you go down there and you start looking for this shit, because if I need to make a comment in it, I gotta see it. I mean, at least that's my mentality. If you're putting a map out telling the public where it's at, then come on, that's pretty flawed logic. But that also opens it up to everyone in the United States to make a comment. How many environmentalists got their feathers ruffled and made a comment to this government agency on, you know, what is going on? And you can't do that. You're going to destroy the lands. Oh, climate change, climate change. You can't possibly have these gas bikes out there. That's why I'm starting to love electric motorcycles. I'm starting to love like the Talaria Sting, the Suron, hopefully other e-bikes that come out that are more dirt bike-ish, because they're silent. You can't hear me coming down the canyon. You don't know that I'm back there. If you're silent, you're stealth. If you're stealth, then no one gives a damn. I don't think really the social media or anything really brings attention to stuff as much as people have eyes, and they use those eyes and they look around. Anyways, this is long enough. This is my rant. So population, number one, it's growing. Can't do anything, you know, it's growing. Word of mouth, number two. Showing groups, posting rides, have groups come out. probably number 3. Social media, I put as number 4. And that's only if people are using tags wrong, putting stuff in the title that shouldn't be there, instead of just saying, here's a nice video of my weekend ride. And if somebody asks where it's at, you say, I don't know. A buddy showed me, and it's some private land or something. I have no clue. I was just following somebody. And leave it at that, because it's nobody's business. And that's how I like to operate. You might not think I do, but I actually do. And I feel very bothered that people would think that I go out there and actually say, hey, I'm over here off of 2nd and 3rd Street cutting through this field. I know a farmer owns it, but that's where I'm at. Well, no, I'm not going to tell you where I'm at. I'm not going to tell you where I'm at. I have to know you very well. Very, very well. You better be giving me reach arounds and everything. So, anyways, have a good one. Stay well. Stay safe, my friends. And just remember, you got to be careful with who you blame. Because in the end, we're probably all to blame. Let's be realistic. Have a good one. Stay well. Stay safe. Bye.